my daughter took Chinese home study. And
Mandarin or Cantonese?
Mandarin,
I would assume.
Yeah, and it was weird because she did it all on her own, and she didn't get great grades, but she got okay grades, and it might have just been passing.
That's impressive.
No, it's not, because I'm like, Hope, say I like soccer. Right? Like that's a thing. Everyone like me gusta la football or something like me gusta la el football. And she couldn't. I'm like, say this. Say I'm late for the bus. Strike out, strike out, strike out. Say anything. Too much pressure. Turns out this girl had been taking online Chinese with Google Translate and just like copy pasting her way through high school.
Oh, well, no wonder she doesn't know it. I mean, she could have probably bullshitted you, too. If you're like, say, I'm going to the store today to get peaches. She'd be like,
I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll do that. I gotta go to the bathroom first. She comes back and like, you're like, oh, that's amazing. Nice job.
There's a part of me that's like, well, she didn't learn Chinese, and that was the goal, right? But there's another part of me that's like, she may have learned an important lesson in like time management and finding an easier route. Sometimes I don't want to act like life is one big cheat your way through session, but shucks, if you can find a workaround, then it might be.
If you think about it, she's learning Chinese the same way the Chinese would learn Chinese, because they got pissed off about not being able to cheat too.
But are you guys on me with like the meta lesson in this thing? Like do you?
Of course. No,
a yes and a no. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you should do it, like ideally. But like when I took Italian, I should have learned to speak Italian, but I definitely phoned it in and took the easy way out more often than not. When it was like, I'm not going to learn this, and when will I ever need to speak Italian?
If they make the mistake of doing an online language class, then that's on them. If we're talking about some real world like experience that we're garnering getting here, it's that. Look, in the real world, if you were at your job and you had to do some sort of spreadsheet thing or something like that, something you didn't know how to do, but you could just go online and like get the information that your boss needed to like complete the project, that's what you do. You wouldn't go like back to school and learn a thing. You just get the job done.
I'm sorry.
How about this? By her doing that, she was able to spend much more of her time on other studies that actually required her. Not only did they require her attention and focus, but they were more relevant studies to like her future in college, like math or English or science.
This happens all the time in real world, right? Like you're an attorney, and I know this happens in real life, and you have to take so many hours of CPE, continuing professional education, and you need to prove that you took these hours and submit it to like whatever the board and say, yes, I did my 40 hours of continuing professional education this year. So what people do is they'll do like the online version, right? Taylor has to freaking take the test and share the answers with the rest of the firm. And now we all have our continual professional education criteria done. Mm-hmm. That happens constantly. And maybe she learned that in high school. Little buddy saver there.
Like you talking about how she didn't know any of it reminds me of like every King of the Hill episode where like Peggy's name, she's like, Hola classo, me llamo es señorita Peggy Hill. Like she's just so bad at it. Like,
she thinks she's fluent, but it's just Spanglish. It's terrible Spanglish. And she's like every time it comes up, like when they actually go to Mexico, like for an episode or two, she looks like a goddamn idiot. It's hilarious.
And then, like the whole point is like she wants to testify to be like to show that she's fluent and defend herself. She gets arrested first of all because she accidentally kidnapped a Mexican child, comes back, and then she drops off the Mexican kid to her parents, and all the Mexicans are running at her. She's like, "You do not need to thank me. Thank El Thanko," or whatever the hell she says. And then they arrest her. She thinks she's getting an award, and then she goes to the trial, and Hank. She's like, I will testify myself up there and show that I am fluent in Spanish. And Hank's like, oh, it's probably for the best that you do. Because she goes up there on the stand.
And he knows.
Yeah, and Hank knows, so she goes up there and answers all these like the judge is asking like, so what were you doing on Tuesday in the afternoon? And she'll say like in Spanish like, I was looking at hats through a store window at the market, or not even something that cohesive.
No, it'll be like potato feet, El Caro, Pepsi. And the judge is like, okay, do you know where you are right now, Senora Peggy? Yes, I know.
I am
where.
in the local water closet.
Or
like,
she's terrible. She doesn't fucking speak Spanish, and she's a Spanish. Sometimes she fills in as a Spanish teacher. It's pretty ridiculous. I love
That's such
Silver
an
Hill.
underrated show. I love it.
Do you remember what Boomhauer's job was?